Rewatching the movie Sabrina from 1995. It's a story of two brothers, very wealthy brothers, who basically, in some terms, fall in love with Sabrina, who is their chauffeur's daughter. Linus Larrabee correlates to Conrad Fisher from The Summer I Turned Pretty. His brother David, who is younger, David Larrabee, he corresponds to Jeremiah Fisher from the TV show, and obviously Belly would be Sabrina in this movie. The movie and The Summer I Turned Pretty is not exact, but I would say that The Summer I Turned Pretty is like a rearranged or mixed up version of this movie, and they have a lot of different parallels. And I've been watching through it to compare, and I've been just laughing so much and had to compare all their scenes with you. So in this part of the movie, this is like Belly, who is off in Spain traveling and meeting new people. She meets Benito. This guy can also represent the Cam Cameron of season 1 because she's trying to date and do new things outside of her love that she has for one of the brothers. In the movie, she's in love with the younger brother, David. In The Summer I Turned Pretty, she switched this around. So she's always been in love with Conrad.
Good morning, Brian. Bring her around. We'll try and make it look good. You guys work Sundays now, huh? It's Wednesday, David.
This scene is so funny to me because it sort of exemplifies the two characters. We have Harrison Ford, who played Linus. He would be our Conrad Fisher, and he is the man of the house. He's basically runs the family business now and is just a very serious natured man, versus David, who doesn't really work and is just much more of a non-serious natured person.
I like Louis. He's funny and sweet. He's such a good photographer.
But someone is in the way. Is it this David you mentioned casually 40 or 50 times when you first came over? He sounds perhaps like an illusion.
He keeps me company.
You think so? Illusions are dangerous, people. They have no flaws.
I think this part is so important. While it's not an exact parallel to the show, it references what's going on in The Summer I Turned Pretty. Sabrina's talking about this new guy she's dating. Let's pretend he's Cam Cameron, who's super nice and super sweet, but she's just using him to try and forget her childhood love. But the woman is like, sounds like this guy in your past is an illusion. And an illusion is dangerous because they have no flaws. And this really correlates to Belly because she has Conrad on this high pedestal, a dream man with no flaws. And I think that's something that she has to come to grips with on the show, that Conrad is just a regular person, a regular teenage boy with flaws, and that she has to learn to accept or deal with them and not just, throw it away when things get too tough.
I went for long walks, and I met myself in Paris. You seem embarrassed by loneliness, by being alone. It's only a place to start.
Such another important scene because she's basically telling Sabrina, who is obviously the Belly in The Summer I Turned Pretty, like, it seems like you're afraid to be alone, to like experience things without, the Conrad in your life or whatever. She's like, it's a good place to start. You need to experience life, take long walks, learn who you are in life. And that's something that we need to see Belly do, and which she'll do at the end of book 3. Well, she does at the end of book 3 when she goes to Spain and finally frees herself from both Jer and Conrad.
God, you're easy on me.
Okay. Then why don't you marry me?
Okay. Why don't I?
Don't kid about stuff like that.
Okay. Why don't I?
You sure you know what it is?
Yeah, that thing where you hang together a lot and sleep in the same room and button each other's hard-to-reach buttons.
Then I accept.
Really? Why?
I died laughing with this scene because if you've read book 3, this is like the interpretation of Belly and Jer's proposal, except it's not Belly and Jer in the movie, But this guy, David, represents Jer. So it's just hilarious, this proposal, because it comes out of nowhere. They've only been dating maybe a few weeks or so, like a couple of months, and she kind of pops it up to him, and he's like, okay. And just his definition of what a married couple is, like, just really reminded me of how Jer acted in book 3, because he just does not take it seriously. And David is the same way. He doesn't take it seriously. He doesn't really understand what a marriage entails, and he just jumps into it like it's nothing.
You don't deserve her, but she appears to love you. Yeah, see, doesn't that worry you a little bit? I mean, about her mental health?
This scene really makes me think of Conrad at the end of book 3. So it feels like it's something that he would say to Jeremiah, because it's true. At the end of book 3, he doesn't deserve her. He finds out he's cheated on her, and it's like, do you even love her? Like, why? You don't deserve her. And David's comment about the mental health line just cracked me up, because it just makes me think about the Phantom, to be honest. Now, this is a long scene, but I want you guys to watch it. Sabrina just returns back from France. She's trying to figure out, I guess, a way to get back home, and she sees David's car, or Jer, in town, and now he comes out of the store and ensues their first meeting. This is a parallel to the very first episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty, when they first see Belly. Also, remember, they've known each other their entire lives.
Hi. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
I can't remember the name of your street.
Thesaurus Lane.
What? That's where I live.
Small world.
Big Lane.
You don't recognize me, do you?
Yeah, of course I do. You're my neighbor on Thesaurus Lane.
And you're David.
I sure am. One of the lesser Larrabees.
Oh, in what way, that's it?
Pretty much every way. But please, for pity. Listen, party's at 9 o'clock. Will you come?
Do you really want me to?
Very much. If you'll tell me who you are.
Hello, Sabrina.
Hello, Linus.
Sabrina.
Have a good time in Paris?
Yes, thank you.
Sabrina.
You look all grown up.
Sabrina?
Why does he keep saying that?
So again, this is a comparison to the first scene of season 1, episode 1, where Belly arrives at Cousins and the boys first see her again after the whole year. David, who really is the Jer, completely doesn't recognize her, doesn't know who she is at all. And he's known her his whole life. Her change, her new look, just completely has him like wowed and floored, but he doesn't realize it's Sabrina. Meanwhile, the minute they show up to the house and Linus, who corresponds to Conrad, shows up, he knows her who she is immediately. Like, there's no second guessing, there's no double take. He's like, oh, hey Sabrina, how are you? How was your trip? He notices how grown up she is, but he knows who she is. I love it so much because it's showing that whole scenario where that Conrad has always known Belly, no matter what changes, like, he knows who she is. While for Jer, this was like a whole new Belly. For David, this was a whole new Sabrina. He didn't even recognize her. This was like the moment in the book that Jer says changed everything for him. Similar to David, this moment changed everything for him, but he didn't even recognize her. Meanwhile, Linus knew who she was immediately. No matter her look on the outside, he could recognize her from the start.